All right. Well, yeah, we'll give a couple more minutes, but I'm just curious too. Are you currently everyone on here running smart plans? At least any of them? No?
I'm not at
Okay.
all, and I'm ashamed. So that's why I'm here.
No, don't
Same
be. I
here.
mean, I mean, even for me, it's one of those things that like, if you set everything up and take like an hour or two to just set it all up, that so my like, because I tend to get caught up. I mean, I think everyone, Katie, you too, right? Like you're an agent in production as well as other, yeah. So for me, it's like I get caught up in just doing the day-to-day activities, showings and everything like that, where I have to force myself to just take that time. And that's my goal is for, and I'm giving myself like a ton of leeway, but by like the start of 2022 to have like all the smart plans that are are touching the different portions of my database, because some of these are more geared towards people you've never met before, that could be like paid ads, and then some are like little reminders to just touch base with your sphere of influence and your like real close knit people, and then some are like more automated messages and stuff, so you can really get like pretty high level with it. But I just want to set up like 3 to 4 different ones touching different portions of my database by and definitely going to 2022. So it's like it's just it's like set it and forget it kind of mentality. So I think the first one that I'll start with is, it's such a good one because it's geared towards your sphere and like the people you're closest to, and it's incredibly like it's not aggressive, and it's very value driven. You could do the biweekly or the monthly neighborhood watch, which or neighborhood nurture, whatever I think it's called neighborhood nurture. So it's either twice a month or monthly, and that one will send whichever area you specify in command. It'll send that person an email with the breakdown of like sold houses in that neighborhood, pendings, and like average price sold and stuff. So that's always a good one just to like get going and have, especially for however many people you have in your like sphere database, where and in general, I think we all use different there might be, I don't know, you might hear there's my wife's putting our toddler to bed upstairs, and there could be a little nursery rhyme coming through there, or like the little music. I don't know if you guys hear that or not. So yeah, I think for however many people you have in your database, the closest, command, some people use different CRMs, right? Like, but command is really good no matter what you use. You could be using, like, some teams use like Boomtown, some teams use Sierra, some teams use Command, some agents use different ones. But like, if you do start adding people that you're very close to into Command, you're just going to set yourself up for success, because the smart plans are pretty intuitive. Like, Command does a couple things really well, and one of them is like the drip campaigns smart plans, and then also it's really good for like paid marketing on social media and stuff. How's it going, everyone?
Hey, Paul.
How are you?
Good, yourself?
Very good.
Good.
Hi.
All right, so I'm going to hop into it. The biweekly or monthly neighborhood nurture. The couple things to remember, what's important with those is you're going to need to know the person's email address. So obviously, if they're pretty close to you and it's your sphere of influence, even if you don't have it, it's pretty easy to get it, right? I mean, even if you haven't talked to them in a while, like, it's a nice way to, I guess, just touch someone too, like on Facebook. Hey, like, I'm gearing up for 2022. As you know, I'm in real estate. Like, I'm going to be sending you some, just so if you don't have someone's email, if they're close to you, it's easy to get it. But you're going to need to know their email address, and then preferably their physical address of where they live. And if you don't have it and have no way of getting it, I always say, like, if you kind of know where I mean, if you know that they live in, Westlake, you could just kind of pick a town or like a little area in Westlake. Or if worse comes to worse, just set them up on like Cleveland proper, like somewhere like downtown. I mean, no one's going to get like information about Greater Cleveland, like an email that shows stats about like home prices and stuff and be like, why are they sending me this? It's a really cool way of staying top of mind with people. So email address, and then you're gonna have to pick a place to where the command's gonna send the neighborhood stats from. So with that too, it uses I don't know if you guys know the Nextdoor, the social media or the social network where a lot of people use to talk about like what's going on in their neighborhood, lost cats and dogs and all kinds of stuff. It's pretty cool. Just especially for realtors, it's a really good social network anyway, but that's what it uses as the areas. So that's something to keep in mind. So it might take you a minute to kind of nail down what area it is. I just want to give you an example. It's like I had someone that lived in the Concord area, and it's not as easy as just like, oh, that's the neighborhood they live in. Like even where I live in Willoughby, I live on Maple Street, but then what my area is called for some reason in that is called like Waldemere Avenue. So you just got to like tinker with it. But again, it'll be worth it in the end if you just, follow the entire process. So I'm going to share my screen and kind of go through how to set that up. And minimize the icons here. Oh, put this down here. And since I'm sharing my screen, I can't. So literally, if you have a question or something, you just stop me. Just unmute yourself and just ask, because I won't be able to see. I might be able to see like in the chat, but I won't know if you have a question. So you could just yell it out if you do. And it's always nice to have it more like interactive as well, because everyone's in different stages of like where they are in their business. So I just want to make sure that we're touching everyone's like where they need help with. So if you have anything, we have an hour here, so just please feel free to like unmute yourself and just ask a question. All right, so when you're in command, here's your dashboard. And then real quick too, who on here is, when you log into command, who on here is on a team? Is anyone? Okay, Michael. So, okay. Yeah, so see how like up here, can you guys see this? Like where my name's up here? See how I have a personal account and a Triv team account because I'm on a team. So you're gonna want to toggle it to your personal, because your team has different settings. And if they are working on functionality more with teams. So if like, don't get discouraged if like Michael, I don't know where you guys kind of have all your contacts and everything in your team, kind of like when you log into command. I'm not quite sure what it looks like, but some of these, when you're downloading like a SmartPlan and stuff, you have to be on your personal profile.
Yeah, I think we have them defaulted to go to the team.
Okay.
So everyone has access to them, but I think there may be a way. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to look at it and see.
Yeah.
As far as the difference between the personal account and the team account.
Yeah, you should be fine. Like on some of them, like when I'm on under the Triv team, it won't let me download some of them, but it shouldn't be an issue. All right, cool. So you're on the dashboard here. The fourth one down is SmartPlans. You click that. Normally, when you pop in here, if you haven't like used SmartPlans before, you're not going to have them sitting in here. Your My SmartPlans tab up here will probably be empty on most of these. But you could just go to library. That's where you're going to get them. So I'm going to, for example, let me just do this. So when you click in the library, there you can, so for say biweekly neighborhood nurture, here's this one. In order to get it into your section where you can start playing around with it, you have to click add a smart plan. And then if you want to name it something else, that's totally fine. But you're going to be able to click download on yours. See how mine, it won't because it's already in there. But just click download, and once you do, it will show up over here in SmartPlans. And then from here, see when you click of like what the functionality is, it'll send the email and then it'll wait 14 days and it'll just repeat it. So basically this one's simple functionally, but it's very valuable, like to especially the people that you know that you're close to, because you just always want to stay top of mind. So on this one, there's different ways to set people up on them. You can do them kind of one by one if you wanted to. But for, again, with this one, you're going to need to put their emails and what neighborhood they're in. So for example, see how you can add contacts here, and you can do multiple. On this one, it's not quite as simple as that because you may not have all the proper things in there. So you're going to probably have to do these one by one, which is a little more time consuming, but it'll be worth it in the end. So especially because most of our sphere of influences, like in my SOI database, I think I had like 150 people in there. I have more that I've gotten through paid ads, but these are the people where, you're probably not going to have like 500 in there unless you might over time, but so it'll be worth it just to kind of go through each of them. So contacts, we'll pull myself up here to see. Okay, so this is what I was talking about with add neighborhoods. So one, if you need to add their email and you don't have it yet, just click edit, and then you can fill in as much as you need to, right? You could do name, email, you could tag them, you can, tagging's great. It just is easier to kind of keep things SOI, save. So definitely need the email, and then down here, this is the most important to actually get the email to start sending when you add them to the smart plan. So when you click, see how I mentioned, this is my area here where if you click Waldemere Avenue, it has like this whole section here of streets, and like we're included in that. So it might take a minute of finding it, but just keep plugging away because it'll be worth it. And you could also do multiple, right? So on that one where I have downtown Willoughby and Waldemere, what's nice is when I send myself one just to always kind of remember, like, oh yeah, I'm sending those out. And it's always nice when I get that email. It's fun. Where if you add multiple areas, it'll show the different stats for each area, which is really nice. So,
Hey, Paul,
Mhm.
I assume these are the same neighborhoods that they also have on the consumer app, right?
yeah,
I think it coincides.
it coincides. Yeah, it's using
Cool.
the same back end social network. Mhm. So what's nice too is they have these suggested ones, so that can help you out as well. If you start typing like whatever city they're in, I think that one's pulling more from, but yeah, so you can start, and don't get concerned too. You might start typing a city and then it won't populate it, but just finish typing it in and then hit enter, and then it'll suggest some neighborhoods there at the bottom. So, so then once you have at least one, you don't have to do multiple. You could just do one, and then you're going to want to save. So here, up here is the smart plan section. So you can, while you're doing that, delete that, yes, remove. Okay, so this is what yours is going to look like. So when you put a neighborhood in there, and then over here on the top right, there's smart plans. You could add to a smart plan, and then select that one, and then click start now. It'll say this every time, doesn't matter. Just click confirm. It's just saying if you have a Twilio account set up, blah, 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 but doesn't matter for this one because you're not sending them text, you're just sending them emails. Just confirm. And then that's in active status, right? So this one, every twice a month, it'll send me a breakdown of your area, which is, it's just a really good way of adding value to someone. You're not asking for anything. You're not asking them to list their house for sale. You're not asking them if they're looking to buy and sell. You're literally sending them market info. And if you're the market expert, that's what you want to be sending people. So I'm more of a fan on the neighborhood nurturers to like do them individually, right? Because to batch them, I don't know. I just feel like it might be a little painstaking, but just go through your contacts and make sure that they're set up on a neighborhood and that they have an email address. And then once you finish putting the email and the area, go over a smart plan and add them to the neighborhood nurture. Are there any questions on that one specifically? Let me see if I can stop share real quick. I'm going to I'm going to pull up the email that it sends so you can see it. Okay, so okay, can everyone see this right here? So this is what this is what it looks like when you send it to someone. Again, if you whatever you name it, that's what's going to be in the subject line. And then see how it's nicely branded. Got my number, got my email, and then neighborhood trends. And then you go down here, see how it's downtown will be first, 4 homes for sale, average home price, average sold. You can explore the neighborhood here, which is kind of cool with the new listings. And then also it shows me the other neighborhood I added. So if you have one, it's just going to show the one. If you have multiple, it's going to show all of them. But really cool, you know, just simple, easy, nice, pretty clean. Going, which is nice. Yeah, you'd be surprised at how many times when I see people that I literally can't even remember that I'd set them up on that. We'll say like, hey, you got your emails, like love it, thanks so much. So it's a really easy one, but effective. And the next one I want to talk about is it's the 555. This one's good. This one kind of gets you in that mode of, stop screen share real quick. This one gets you in the mode of a little bit less of like, sometimes I get in this spiral of, okay, I'm a little busy, and then okay, I put out all the fires. I got like a couple closings, everything's good. Okay, and then all of a sudden the last one closes, and then you're like, I don't have anything pending. So then you're like, oh yeah, you get like motivated again. You're like, oh, I'm gonna start lead generating. So last year, Stephanie Termine, who's on the TRIP team, she's out of the Westlake office in Citywide. There was, I think this was actually 2 years ago, we were using a different CRM. We were using Boomtown at the time, but they had a very similar, it was also called the 555. It's where you set up 5 people a day on like a reminder. So basically, you go through your database, and then you just you go alphabetical order, and you pick 5 people for that day, because it only takes like a couple minutes to do it. And then you set them up on the 555 smart plan. And then what that one does is it sends you a reminder to contact them. So the idea on that one is, once you go through, it might take, depending on how many you have in there, it might take you a month to do it, might take you 2 months. But once you do that, you no longer are like waking up in the morning as an agent being like, what do I do? Like, who do I contact? Who do I call? You literally can just say, like, commands my home base, and open it up in the morning. And then what it'll do is every day you'll have tasks where, like, after the first week, it'll say, call this person, call that, like, you call these 5 people. And then you'll log in, and the next day it'll say, like, text these people, so it's a really cool way of kind of taking getting caught up in that doom loop of like, oh my God, what do I do? Who do I call? Like, you could just pop open command, and it'll literally tell you, like, hey, today, like, send a greeting card to these 5 people, and then it's just like, it's that rhythm of, over time, if you're doing that say after like 3 months, and then imagine if you did that for a year pretty consistently, if you just, instead of, waking up in the morning and you're doing your normal routine, after coffee and breakfast and all that, and then like, oh, today I'm going to just pop open this. It's like, no, I can just pop open my laptop or my computer, or go to the office, open up command, and it'll tell me exactly who to contact for that day. So that one's a really cool one. Again, the consistency is key. Like, it's a set it and forget it type thing, and it will take longer, but it's totally worth it. So on that
Well,
one,
I actually just looked at that 555 for the first time ever, and
Yeah.
I kind of love it. And
yeah,
it's nice too that it's like every 30-ish days. So you don't feel like you are in constant contact with that person, but it seems like it's just enough. So I'll
Mhm.
definitely use that one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure you're absolutely right. I think it's 30 days. So, and what's nice is a different form, right? So, like, the first one, say it's the first group of people after a month, it says call them. Like, I'm the type of person, I don't think necessarily everyone on the leadership or ALC or like super mega agents, I don't think all of them would agree with me, but I'm a big fan of like doing what you're good at, right? So if phone calls, if you just don't communicate with your sphere with that, like, there's some people, if I call, and even though I know them really, really well, I just don't communicate them through phone calls, right? Like, a lot of my best friends and stuff, it's messages and stuff like that. So um I think a lot of times we overthink it. So even if you set up that 555 plan, and the first task is to call them, you could easily just hop on Facebook and message them, right? Um, a lot of times we kind of we it's like this easy hurdle that we overthink. So if you don't, and I could be wrong, but I think Bold is like going more towards that, where they're okay. Like, some of these high level teachers they're finally being okay with understanding that, like, people in Keller, not everyone communicates through phone calls and stuff like that. So if it's just not your thing, like, just do what you're good at, so that's my advice on that. Again, like, some people might disagree, but it's worked for me. So on this one, share screen. Okay. SmartPlans. So here's my 555. The way Katie was talking, see how this shows the functionality of what's going to be happening. So it's at the 30-day delay, and then after 30 days, it says touch task, interact task with client, wait 30 days, and it keeps doing that. So really cool. On this one, you don't necessarily have to do it like one by one manually. You can go here to the right and just click add contact. And then I only have 27 in here because we as a team, all of our contacts are in the team account, but I did run a ad a week ago and I picked up these 27. I had a listing that I did a Facebook ad for and it got 27 leads. So again, these are in alphabetical here. You could just go 1, 2, 5. You could add a smart plan. Start now. Confirm. I mean, it's a simple, I mean, you can't really get more simple than that, right? I mean, if you can add on some of these, you could just mass add them and then just set a reminder. I mean, what did that take? Like 10 seconds. So, I mean, even if you had 500 people in your database, like it's almost like takes no time to do this. But the second you start doing that is you're going to have tasks show up in your command dashboard. So it's almost like a little helper saying like, here, it's like your assistant, like here, call these people today or text these people today. What's another one that I was thinking of? Katie, you might know too. I'm trying to think of some other ones that people have had success on.
I just downloaded the 555. I think I like it.
Yeah, that one's awesome. It's really nice.
They're like a birthday one. That's
Yes,
super
there is.
easy.
Mm-hmm. Let me find that one. Library. Oh, another thing too, you can, what's a nice feature here? You could always go to, like featured is nice, you know, and it shows how many agents are using it in command throughout the country. These top rated ones are cool, right? So these are ones that have been voted on by our fellow agents across the country as like being good. So that's kind of cool. And then there's some here that, not a bad thing to look at once in a while, because obviously like what's new, some of these are created by fellow agents and they put them on there. So, you know, just from time to time, you can take a look and be like, oh, that would fit. Where's the birthday one to search? Boom, there we go. What's the steps on this one? I always like to look at the steps to see how they created these. Looks like they're all pretty much the same. Happy birthday. And you could pick really any of these. On this one though, again, this one's gonna be more of like a manual version of, you just got to make sure that you're coming in and editing your contacts to have as much info as possible. So edit. It's down here, add more information. Did you all see that too, where it's in the edit contact form, it's basically showing like the main name, number, email. But then if you click more info here, it's additional contact info. Here we go. So it's in the about section.
Almost your birthday.
It is, it's 10 days away. Let's go. And what's in custom as well. Yeah, you see, it's cool. You can add custom fields, but this one also home anniversary here. So birthday and home anniversary. I feel like not enough. I'm a culprit of this as well. Not enough people use these to very important dates. Birthday, you know, obviously you could always just, if you use Facebook a lot, right, you're going to be wishing people happy birthday. However, how often does every single person every day go on there and check? But like, so this one is underutilized, I feel like, and home anniversary too. Like I can't believe it, but like most of the homes I've sold over the last 3 years, I just don't have that written anywhere of like when it is. But can you imagine like how simple that would be too, of just like setting up like a reminder of just like when their home anniversary, like when they bought their house. So I think these two are pretty underutilized and super easy to do. So save that. And then once you have that, you can add smart plans. And then, I didn't download the birthday one, but then you just click it, select it, and then it starts. And it's a reminder of, to shoot them a text or call them. So think about it. Like I mean, we haven't even been on the call for 30 minutes and that's already like 3 significant smart plans, right? Like you can and we'll do a couple more, but like in less than an hour, you can really set yourself apart from like 99% of the agents out there, because I think the biggest the biggest thing, I mean, we all kind of picked this industry for a reason, and sometimes it's because we don't like so much of patterns and rhythms. I know that's, for me, like that's part of the thing I like about real estate, is it's not the same thing every day. However, like a little bit of consistency goes a long way. And again, like if you even having 3 smart plans set up, like those 3, 99 out of 100 agents that you ask like wouldn't have any of those going. So if you plan, I mean, just imagine 5 years from now. I know sometimes it's like, oh, that's too far, but like even if you're a brand new agent and you put 100 people in your database and you set those 3 smart plans up, you'd be surprised by the end of the year of how much like additional business you'd get. That wasn't just like, oh, that's my buddy, he's an agent. It's the consistency goes a long way. And I've been shocked too over the past 3 years, that how many times people really close to me like use other people as agents. That sometimes kind of like brings home the top of mind thing, that it's sometimes our ego is like, when it's time, they'll call me. But you just got to think like you're busy, right? Like your friends are busy, so it's not always just a slam dunk. So taking a little bit of time to set these up, it would really separate you from the competition, from your fellow agents. And imagine too, I always think of kind of like the rising tide lifts all ships as well. Like if KW Living as a whole started like implementing more smart plans as well, like imagine the talent that would start, we're kind of, I guess, when you're thinking about like we're in our infancy as well, right? With like the new kind of setup over the past, it's not even 2 years. So I just think in general, like the more we use leverage to help our businesses, like it's just going to attract other people to work to, we're just going to continue growing like as a whole. Let's find another one here. There we go. Share screen. All right, let's find another one. Have any of, I know Janice, sometimes you play around with some smart plans and stuff. Are there any other ones? Katie, I don't know. You you hadn't ran one. I'm trying to think of another good one there's another one that's, where is it? Database follow-up, custom. Oh, okay. This could be interesting too. I just want to show you how you can create your own as well. So you click create here on the right. So this is cool too. If you're a type of person that kind of wants to get like a little bit into the weeds and really customize something, you can create your own. So what you do for this is, say you just create a task. Oh, you know what? I'm going to call this, like, for example, Facebook paid ads. Let's call that. So say I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to, I've set up 3 smart plans for my database, good stuff. I have a listing coming up and I'm going to run a Facebook ad for it. I'm going to put like $30 to it, run it for 10 days. And if you do that, you could probably expect like 20 to 30 leads to come in. And you're like, yeah, I kind of just want to make sure when they come in that immediately I'm doing something with them. So for example, you can call this like Facebook paid ads, text lead. The reason I say text and not call is I've noticed when I've ran Facebook ads and stuff like that, it's because it's such a cold lead. Anything paid, the person doesn't know you and they don't trust you yet, right? So a call sometimes is just a little bit too forward, right? So especially if they just want to see like the price and the photos. So I like text, and the second part on that too is when you text someone, it'll show like whether that number is sometimes I've done it before. I text them and it'll come back like the number is incorrect or something. So it could be that it's a landline where it's hooked up to their house, right? So they can't receive text. Or some people, they kind of know the game of submitting your info online where they'll like change the number. Not a big deal, but it's just nice to know that, right? So you're not calling people over and over and knowing that there's not anyone on the other end. So you could just write like text lead on this, and then you could set delay. And then the set delay is, say you choose 2 days. Actually, I'm gonna just do 1. So if you set 1 day and then create another task and then do follow up with lead. Follow up with Facebook lead. Then it's up to your discretion, right? So say you're running an ad and then you can automatically, when you're creating the ad, this is not off topic at all because I'm just, now the functionality of command is when you run a paid ad on Facebook or Instagram, you can automatically set them up on a smart plan when they come in. So say I've created the smart plan and then I can choose that any lead that comes in on a paid ad through Facebook, this smart plan activates. So that means that when any new lead comes in, it'll say text this lead. Okay, so I do. And then the set delay means it waits. And then the next day I'll pop in there again. It'll say follow up with the Facebook lead. So then you can call them or you can email them or whatever it is. Set delay. 1 day. Create task. So that's 3 touches. We're going to set another delay. Create task. Follow up with Facebook lead. I mean, normally they say to do even more touches. Right now, that's 4 touches. I mean, typically on a cold paid ad or any sort of paid lead that you are generating people that you don't know to come in, it's going to take more than 4 touches. But I mean, even this is pretty decent, right? So you can save this. And then that's a functioning smart plan now. So So see how this is Facebook paid ads. So I mean, it's pretty simple to create that. I mean, you saw the widgets on the side. You can click like, you can get real high level with it and create like these super extensive smart plans. But I mean, even just something like that where the lead comes in, and then it just reminds you for the next 4 days to contact them. You'd be surprised. I've ran some ads that like some of those people are still sitting in there. So I'm saying like, even, I know that sounds basic, but I've ran ads before where these people have never been touched, right? So even doing that is pretty significant because it automatically sets them up on it, right? So then you just pop in again, and it's always nice to have that home base, right? Just like it's, if you kind of think of command as like your is okay, like if I can go in there and it'll show me at least people to lead generate to and contact. It's pretty cool.
Paul, do you know, I did it when I used to use Boomtown. I did it, that you can set up like for it to send a text to the lead as soon as they like click on the ad, like to set that up so that it happens right away. And then it can just say something like, I'll follow up with you, as soon as possible. I received your inquiry, whatever.
Yeah, I think so. Let's go into, I think they have some in library here.
I created my own, Katie, that does that for the ads that I do. So it automatically sends them an email and a text as soon as they.
I mean, talk about like taking the, I mean, that is amazing. On that one specifically, you do need a Twilio account, which is, it's so easy. So I don't know anyone besides, I know Janice, Katie, do you have one? The Twilio account is super cheap. What is it? It's like
a couple dollars.
It's a couple dollars a month, and the credits roll over.
And
so if you don't,
they roll over for me every month. I've never used all of them.
You'd have to send so many. You'd have to send so many automated texts.
Thousands of messages a month, and I don't. So
it's like, imagine it's like $2 a month, $2.99 maybe. But it's so worth it. But on that one specifically, you will need that Twilio account to send automated text. But let me just show you how to do the smart plan, and then I'll show you where you can download Twilio. Honestly, it's probably easier just to create one, probably, Janice, right? Like than to find one that's the perfect one. So like go to,
especially because you may want to change the words, and so I found that the ones that are already there, I have to like really like dissect and change it to what I want to say. So it's easier for me to just create my own.
Yeah. So like this one, I'm just creating one, auto text Facebook lead. So when you pop in there,
you're not sharing at the moment in case.
Oh, that's why. I was like, why is it looking different? Boom. Okay. So I just went to create, and then this is your blank screen here. Send text. Here we go. Your Twilio account is connected. That's what you want to see. And then this is where you type whatever message you want. Janice, what did you write on yours? Did you have some success with it? Were you just like, hey, I saw that you were interested in my listing or the listing or whatever?
Yeah, I'll say, I'll just say thank you for responding, or thank you for clicking on my ad, and whatever my follow-up is. So for mine, it's not necessarily always a listing. It could be from my seminar.
Oh yeah, that's
right. So
I'll
say, thank you for, and then I'll say, this is the information for the seminar, and also check your email that has more detail. Just to kind of let them know that I haven't, they didn't just click and go into Never Land.
Yeah, like, oh man, where did I send my info? Like at least someone,
Right.
On this thing, I'm just doing something generic here.
So if someone responds to your Twilio account or your message that came from Twilio, does it come directly to your cell phone or does it go to someplace else?
Yeah, it comes to your cell phone.
And
And
it
when
also
you-
goes into command too, doesn't it? Doesn't it
I
go into into their
into like the Twilio kind of.
the task for that person, like the
I can't remember now when. I don't remember seeing it in my command, but I could, maybe I just wasn't looking. But it would always just like anytime I was sending out the text, it would just when they responded, it would just come right to my phone.
because I know when they
Okay.
when they reply to an email, the email goes into the command too.
Is it typically, Janice, do you know, is it right in there in the dashboard? Is it under tasks or is it somewhere else?
Let me look. I
Okay.
know someone who recently responded to a message, so let me check.
And the number that's used for Twilio, it's different than your cell phone number, right? Or is it the same?
It's different. Yeah. So you choose when you log, when you sign up with Twilio and create an account, you actually choose a number. So
But
what
it can't be your cell phone number.
So what I did was I chose one that was, I think 216 or 440. There's some that like I didn't want, there's so many to choose from. I didn't want to be sending something that wasn't like familiar around here. So I chose I forget if mine, I think mine's a 216 number.
Okay.
But yeah, you cannot use your actual cell phone number.
Does that get confusing? Like if you actually could establish a connection with someone, like what is your real phone number or no? We've not used it, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, anytime we've had different like autoresponder emails with the team and stuff like that, or texts, I've always kind of because we've used Zillow, we've used Boomtown, all kinds of stuff where numbers come from different, and a lot of times I prefer just to kind of text from my phone. I don't necessarily like to log into like the app and send it from there. So I've never really had an issue. I've always kind of said it. I've always had good responses when it was like, hey, by the way, I was texting you from my work number earlier. Like, here's my cell. And I've kind of found that like people appreciate that because they're like, oh, they just gave me their cell phone number. They're, it's almost just like, it's not like your full work number. It's like you get calls on that all day. But I typically have found that it's been I've had a pretty good response from people that way. Like, hey, I was texting you from my work number, here's my cell. And then you kind of transfer them to that, Oh, thanks for coming. Listen. Well, like even that, just like thanks for reaching out. I do a lot of I will promote like listings and I'll get about 20, 30 leads from that. But I know Janice runs them. Like you do a buyer seminar, which is cool. So you obviously use different verbiage if you're promoting like an event versus a listing. But for this one, it's like, hey, thanks for reaching out about my listing. Please let me know if you need additional info or if you'd like to set up a showing. And then you can save that. And then again, you can set a delay and maybe even add another task. But you can even just do that, right? I mean, Janice, did you have another touch after that, or is it just like the one automated text for that?
I typically do more than one touch because I don't want them to forget about the event. So I would do multiple. I'll set delays in between. I usually do like a text, SMS text, and then I do an email, and then I may do a text again, and then like on the morning of whatever, I'll do both just so that they get it. I did look in command. It does show. So in notifications, it shows their response back to you. On the actual client name, it shows, it does show, it will show incoming text if you click on it. So if they respond to you, it will show in command
Mhm.
too. So you'll have another place to find it.
Nice. Perfect. So you can send like, you can even set a delay, and you can send 3 automated texts if you want. Let's just do these 2. I mean, so I did like an automated text, thanks for reaching out, delay, and then circling back. So you can save that and you can set that up. So if you're creating an ad and you can say at the very end before you click publish, you'll say like, do you want a smart plan attached to it? And then you can literally just add that one, like auto text Facebook leads. So pretty much anytime they come in, it'll just set them up with that. It'll send them an automated text, which is really cool. Kind of saves you the time of like having to log in to see how your ad's doing. It just, you're going to be texting them, which is cool. Let me show you real quick as well. You go to settings if you want to set up Twilio. Also, too, before I go any further on finding Twilio, if you haven't yet, I tend to say it all the time, but whenever, if you don't use command a lot and you are going to, just make sure your marketing profile is set up. So when you go to settings, it brings you to the screen right here. If you go to connect settings and then click marketing profile, this is just a one-time thing. You just set it up once and never have to worry about it again. But you can put your photo in there if you're on a team, or just do the KW Living logo and then add your license number, realtor, if you're on a team or not, designation. You can do any of these, bio. Here's an email, website. And then you can see down here, I have my social network set up and stuff. And just click save. You just do that once and it will, remember like on the email that I was sending with the neighborhood nurture, like that's the, it'll pull from the marketing profile of like your photo and stuff like that. So if you're sending like automated emails and stuff, that's where it'll pull from. So it's definitely a good practice and good idea to set up your marketing profile. It takes just a couple minutes. So to scroll down on apps, I think Twilio's at the very bottom. And it normally, when you haven't set it up yet, it'll say connect. And then see how I chose a number, it was 216. Manage. See call forwarding goes to my number. So you get a ton. You can send like 20, or it's quite a bit per month, and that rolls over if you haven't used it. But the setup process is really easy, and it's extremely cheap. So definitely a good idea. Could be something that for 2022 you set up a Twilio account and start shooting off more automated text, especially for like paid ads you do. All right, real quick. All right, yeah, Andrea had a good question. She said, I had the neighborhood nurture set up and I tested my email address, but did not receive an email. Can I search my email for the address that sent out the email? Andrea, I would say, can you, let's see. and I don't know if you can unmute, but did you have, and you picked out a neighborhood? Did you pick out the neighborhood?
Yes. Let me come back in here. I was gonna just try it again, just to make sure.
I don't know exactly what email it will come from. See how mine says like agent 2666247 mailer. I
Yeah.
think the best way you might is just search like this subject line. You know what I mean? That might pull it up. And I would check. I don't think it would go into spam because it's not set up that way, but I would check that.
Okay.
Also, too, when you do set up the smart plan, let's see here. Oh, go back. Add contact.
Right.
Also, too, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you did click smart or start now, but
Yeah.
that would also matter too if it was the day in advance. But I would check that. I would, whatever the name, if you didn't change the name, just you can just search neighborhood nurture
Okay.
or neighborhood update.
You sent yourself one, right, Paul?
Yeah. And it did it right away. So once I clicked send, it sent it. See how it sent 41 minutes ago? It did it like immediately. So the only thing I think of is if just make sure that another thing too, you may have clicked the neighborhood and not like saved it. So I would just make sure that when you do log into your test section.
Yeah. I just went back into my contact just to make sure it's in there. I'm gonna just add another neighborhood. And see what
Maybe
happens.
go into your name
Mhm.
and then look on because you can see if it actually sent out. If you go
Yeah. See right
under
here.
your name and the contacts, and then on the right hand side where it says date range or the other drop down that says all activity, you can change that to say email and see if an email went out.
Yeah, it'll look like this. So see, it'll say today's date and then email. It'll say if it sent it.
Okay. Let me go back in here. Yeah. So I did this a little bit ago. I just never asked when it didn't work. So it has, wait, Janice, you said go to where to see if it sent it? I'm on the right-hand side and I could see in July that it has SmartPlans subscribed, but I don't.
Right. Can you see my screen right here? Can you see what this one right here says?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it should
yeah, I
say
don't have
that's what it looks like.
Yours
So
didn't go. It didn't take for some reason.
Okay, yeah, and it just says on that right-hand side, because I did it in July, and it says that I'm subscribed, but it doesn't show. It just shows that how yours say SmartPlans subscribe down there.
Yep.
That's all mine has.
So when you look to the left here, does it have the neighborhood in here as like a little green neighborhood here?
I do have a green neighborhood. in mine. And
Oh.
I can remove it, but
So that's another thing too, is I would so test this out, see if it works real quick. So click SmartPlans up here
mhm.
and then delete it. I'll just click unsubscribe
Okay.
and then yes, remove, and then see how it says, it'll probably say hello Andrea exclamation point, right?
Correct. Mhm.
And then click add smart plan
Okay.
and then go to the, what if it's whatever, the bi-weekly or monthly, whichever one you're using.
Okay. And then
Save it. And then it'll say, if you have a Twilio account set up, blah, 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 just click confirm anyway.
I was watching just to make sure. Let me select it again. Okay. Confirm it. Reconfirm. Okay. It tells me it's been submitted. All right. Is not sending the email, or it hasn't yet, because it shows
it'll take
on my,
a minute. Mhm.
okay, I'll just wait.
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
Because even right now on this one, it didn't automatically populate it from mine. I'll go back into mine, see if it mine hasn't been up. It's for some reason didn't update yet. Normally does it automatically. I don't know, it's being a little buggy right now, but
Okay.
it says it'll update shortly, but no, it should do it pretty automatically there. It could just be a little buggy right now in the back end, which that's another thing too. It does happen, you know, like even earlier when I went into my dashboard, like I had no tasks showing. So I mean, it just happens. Like we just gotta work with it a little bit. They're still working out kinks and stuff. All right, cool.
Well, I'll just wait and see what happens this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so that's what I ran into before as well, is if you subscribe before, like you have to do, it has to be in succession because it won't know to pull it. So what you have to do is it could have been possible that you had subscribed to that before to test it and maybe not had the neighborhood on there. And then if you add the neighborhood, it doesn't know to restart. So doing what you just did, it'll take a minute to update. Obviously mine's not updated yet, where before it did it right away. But that's why you just
Okay.
gotta do the
So
neighborhood
it's like
first.
if I put the neighborhood on after I had already added the smart plan, then it wouldn't know to trigger it
Yes.
that way. I have to
Yep.
have the neighborhood first.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
the smart plan.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. All right. Cool. All right. That brings us, we're just over 2:00. I want to hold you guys up. If you have any, specific questions for me after this, it's recorded. So Gara will either email it or puts it on the website, the KW Agents Guide, if you need to watch it back. But email or text me if you have any specific questions on, or like, if you're having trouble and kind of fighting your way through it a little bit and you need like a little one-on-one where we're screen sharing and kind of helping you through it, then just let me know. Cool.
Thanks.
You got it. All right, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank
Okay.
you. You
For
too.
sure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All righty.